Alright, so for our first figure, we are being asked to find the volume of a rectangular prism. So the way that we're going to do that is, remember, we're going to identify our base. So our base is going to be right here. And we are going to try to find the area of that base. So big B. So we've got a length of 10 millimeters and a width of 7 millimeters. That's going to give us 70. Now that we found the area of big B, we need to find we're going to multiply that by our height to get our volume. So we've got 70 times 3, and that will give us 210. So 210 millimeters cubed. Now with these figures on this quiz, we do see that the bases are all the bottom of it. But remember, the base could be in different places. We just have to make sure that we orient our shape so that way we can get the base that we need for our equation. So for this one, we're being asked to find the volume of a cylinder. So the volume of the cylinder, we're going to still identify our base, which is going to be right here. And we're going to find the area of that base. So remember, to find the area of a circle, which is what that base is, we're going to use the formula pi r squared. So we'll write that off to the side. So we've got our pi r squared. So if we were to plug our radius into our equation, we're going to have pi times 3 squared. So that's going to come out to is going to be 28.27. So now that we've got our base figured out, our area of that, we can then multiply that by the height. So our height is 8 yards, so we take 28.27 times 8, and that will give us our volume, which is going to be 226.19. So 226.19 yards cubed. For number 3, we're back to a rectangular prism. Notice this one is on its side, and our base is once again the bottom. So we're going to start with finding big B, which is the base, or the area of the base, which is going to be our length times our width, and that's going to be 14 times 6, so that will come to 84. Then we're going to multiply that by our height of 8, so 84 times 8, and that will come to 672, so 672 millimeters cubed. Number 4 is asking us to take a look at a rectangular pyramid, and you'll notice that we identify our pyramid, remember, by the base shape, which is right here, and that's a rectangle. So we're going to do it as we've done for all of the rest of the volume problems, and we're going to find big B. So that base area, which is going to be 10 times 3, which equals 30. And then we're going to take that and we're going to multiply that by our height of 13. So that's right here. So 30 times 13. And that comes to 390. But remember, when we've got if this would be our area if we had, or our volume if we were working with a prism, but since we're working with a pyramid, we're going to divide by 3 because we can fit the volume of 3 pyramids inside of a prism. So 390 divided by 3, and that's going to come out to 130. So our answer is going to be 130 feet cubed. For number 5, we're now taking a look at a cone. So for a cone, we're going to start once again by finding our base, our big B. So our base right here, and that's going to have, we're going to be, remember, to find the area of a circle, we're going to be using pi r squared, and our radius this time is identified. So we don't need to divide it by 2 because it's only showing us the radius. That radius is 2. So we will write in pi times 2 squared, and that equals 12.57. So remember, if you look up at the directions, it's asking us to round our decimals to the nearest hundredth, so that's that second digit. Then we will take that big B and we're going to multiply that by our height right here of 10. So just right up here times 10. And that's going to give us 125.66. So now we've got, as if we had a cylinder, which is similar to our prisms, we have the volume as if it were a prism. But we have a cone, so that's going to be more like our pyramid. And remember, we can fit 3 of those inside of a cylinder. So we take our 125.66 and we divide by 3. And that's going to give us a volume of 41.89. So our answer is 41.89 inches this time cubed. For number 6, we're looking at a triangular prism. So we think back to those tents from earlier example. And with that triangular prism, we're going to still once again find our big B, which is our base area. And we have that triangle. So we've got our base of 6, or our length of 6. And we've got our height of 4. And we'll divide that by 2. And that's going to give us 12. We take our 12 and we multiply that by our prism height, which is right here. And that's also 12. So 12 times 12 is going to give us 144 for our volume. So we end up with 144 centimeters cubed. For number 7, we're back to a cylinder. So we're going to again find our big B. So we've got the circle as our base. We've got big B. It's going to be pi r squared. So that is pi times 1.5. So remember, we're looking just for 1/2 of that to give us our radius. So that's right here. So pi 1.5 squared, and that comes out to 7.07. So we've got our big B, and now we're going to take that big B, so big B times height, the height of our cylinder, which is right here. So 7.07 times 4, and that comes out to 28.27. So then we have 28.27 yards cubed. For number 8, we're looking at a right triangular prism. So we're going to continue what we've been doing, and we are going to find our big B. So we've got triangle. So we'll take our base, or our base of our base triangle, which is going to be 4, and then we will take our height of that base triangle, which is also 4, right? Then we get 16. And we'll take that 16 and divide it by 2, because remember we're using a triangle. So when we're using a triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. So 16 divided by 2 equals 8. And then we have, now in order to find the volume, we need to add in that third dimension, which is our prism height. So we get 8 times 8, and that equals 64. So we get 64 inches cubed for our volume of that right triangular prism. Now number 9 might appear to be like a challenge. It's really not difficult if you take the time and actually analyze the shape that we're working with. So as you can see, we're working with a triangular pyramid. So we're going to look at this bottom triangle. This is going to be our base, right? And then we have several dimensions. So we have the dimensions of each side, and then we have the dimension of that base. Remember, in order to find the area of a triangle, so our big B, our area of a triangle, is going to be base times height divided by 2. So that's for big B. So we have our base right here of 11. Then we have our height right here of 10.665 times 10.665. And that's going to come out to be 117.32. Now remember, we still need to divide that by 2, so we have the area of that base triangle, and that's going to give us 58.66. So now we've got that 58.66. So now we've got the base of our triangular pyramid. So with that 58.66, we can now multiply that by our height. So this is our height right here. And they gave us 14 centimeters. So we take times that 14. And then we end up getting 821.21. Remember, there's one more step. Otherwise, because right now the 821.21 would be as if we had a prism, but we're working with a pyramid, so we need to do one more thing. We're going to divide this all by 3, and that's going to give us a final answer of 273.74. And when we write that with the units, we get 273.74, because we're rounding to the hundredths, centimeters cubed.